Hi, hello, welcome to today's video. My name is Monzi if you are new here. I am so very excited about the journey I'm about to embark on. You read the title. I am going to be reading Six of Crows for the very first time. This has been a long time coming. I know that I am probably the last person on the face of the planet to pick this book up. I don't know why it's taken me so long, but we are finally here, and I am just really jazzed about it. The last couple of books that I've picked up recently have been a little bit lackluster for me, and I was really wanting to pick up something that would kind of reinvigorate me and my love for reading, just like a story where I could really immerse myself and get caught up in that world. And Six of Crows became available to me, and it was just totally cosmic timing. I have straight up never heard anyone give Six of Crows a negative review, so I'm feeling super hopeful and like I'm just gonna really eat this story up. But before I officially start reading, I do have a few errands that I need to run, and I'd like to take you all with me just because one of them is a little bit of a bookish endeavor. I'm being really brave, y'all, and I'm venturing out into 100+ degree weather. I'm sweating if you can't tell. So let me go ahead and show you what those errands are, and then we can get into the meat of this vlog. So the first thing that I need to go do is take this bag of clothes and take it to the post office to go be sold on ThredUp for some credit so that I can go and buy some new clothes, or new to me, because ThredUp is a thrift store. And then I need to take these glass containers that we've accumulated over the last few months and go recycle it at the park, because that is the only place that will accept glass for recycling that is close by to me that I know of. And then the third thing I need to do, yes, there's your visual. The third thing I need to do is go to the library to pick up a book that my partner placed on hold. So I'm going to go grab that for him, and we'll get to see what it is. So that's exciting. Let's go. Hi, hello, it is the next day. I'm only 50 pages through Six of Crows. Thought I would be further along. I'm not. It is what it is. I don't really have that much to say or to comment on or critique or review, because at this point I'm still very much in the exposition phase of the book. I'm just figuring out who's who, what's what, where's where, how the magic system works. Actually, I'm not figuring out how the magic system works. Apparently, you get more of that in the original Grisha trilogy, which I've opted not to read. I just decided to go straight into Six of Crows. So yeah, there hasn't been a ton of explanation on the magic system, which is fine, because right now it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So far, we're just following the Dregs, which is a gang in Ketterdam, and in particular we're following our main guy, the leader of the Dregs, Kaz, who has a striking resemblance to Kelsier from Mistborn, except he's 17 years old. And that really threw me off at first, because Kelsier is like in his 30s, I would say, in Mistborn. And I was kind of getting that same slightly older energy from Kaz, and then they said that he was 17, and I was like, duh, this is a YA book. but in my mind he is much older than he actually is, and I don't know if I'm alone in feeling that way. Despite the fact that I'm still in the early stages of the book, I am still having a pretty good time. I just know that with fantasy books in particular, I always have to give myself at least 100 pages before I can really tell how I'm going to feel about the book, because you don't know until you've had this setup and you're more into the plot. So we're still figuring things out, but it is enjoyable. It's obviously very approachable, very easy to read, given that it was written for young adults, and I am twice the age of the target audience for this book. I haven't had a lick of caffeine today, and I am very, very sleepy. I already took a little bit of a nap, very normal for me, but I can feel myself sinking into another one, especially if I stay on my couch. So we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna go to a tea shop and read some more, and hopefully read some more after that, and read some more after that, and finish this bad boy this weekend. Let's go get a beverage. Hi, it's been a couple of days since I gave you my last reading update. I am now on page 161, chapter 14, and my Kindle tells me that I am 27% of the way through, so still not super far. I don't know what it is, but every time I pick it up, I have a pretty good time reading it, like I'm enjoying myself, but I'm still not super engrossed in the story. Like I haven't been sucked into the world quite yet. And it's still early days. Like we don't really know the characters all that well. We're just getting a very general, vague idea of who they are, and the plot has really only just begun. So what has happened so far is Kaz, the leader of the dregs, he has been given this opportunity to gain a large sum of money if he's able to pull off this impossible heist. And so he assembles this crew of 6 people to carry out this heist with him, hence the name 6 of Crows. And the 6 people include him, so it's him and then 5 other characters that we're being introduced to. And they have just embarked on their mission. They are en route to their destination where they are supposed to kidnap someone. I just don't really know the characters that well still, right? Like we're still being introduced to them, and I have the best sense so far of Kaz. He comes off really cold and ruthless, because he is ruthless. I just read a scene where he pulls someone's eyeball out of their socket and then stuffs the socket with a handkerchief and then just throws that person into the ocean, just tortures them needlessly for information, and then gets rid of them. Like, so wild. Anyway, Kaz, we know probably the best at this point, but we still don't know a lot about him. We don't know his history. We don't know why he has a limp, why he uses a cane. There's just a lot of mystery surrounding him and really surrounding all the characters. I can already tell that we're working with pairs. Like you have the group of 6, but then Kaz and Inej kind of have something special going on. Nina and Matthias have some sort of backstory that we still aren't privy to as the reader, but it seems very complicated. Like they have some love-hate type of relationship, and I don't know why, other than the fact that we know Matthias used to hunt Grisha and Nina is a Grisha. So that's how they met each other, is he was hunting her. But I also feel like maybe they fell in love at some point previously. I don't know. There's something going on there. And then you have Jesper and Wylan, who just are constantly at each other's throats. They do not like one another, but I know that they are going to eventually warm up to one another. I think I'm gonna really like seeing that, because I've heard over and over that the found family trope runs really strong in this book, and that is by far my favorite trope to read about, which is why, despite the fact that I haven't gotten super into it, I still have really, really high hopes that I'm gonna end up loving it. It is Sunday night, around 7 o'clock. So I'm gonna read for a couple hours, go to bed, wake up early in the morning to go to work. I don't know when I will next update you. So we're just gonna play it by ear. It's been a week. It's been a full week since I last updated you. The reason for that being, life just got busy, you know. I work 40 hours a week, and I started this new personal challenge that has taken a lot of my time, and I was reading other things, and I just didn't read like a ton of Six of Crows and didn't really have that much to say either. At this point, I am 50% of the way through. I am smack dab in the middle of the book, and I just still don't have like anything new to say, really. I mean, it's taken 50% of the book to just give us the setup, and we've gotten, you know, different characters' backgrounds, and that's been really interesting, and I've enjoyed reading that. But again, it just doesn't grip me as much as getting like into the plot. But I'm at the point right now where they just got to the ice court, which is where they're supposed to do this heist. And so I am fairly confident that the plot is about to thicken, and I'm very excited for that, because I'm just desperate at this point to feel what the whole rest of the world feels about this book, because right now I'm feeling pretty average about it. Like, I'm not having the worst time by any means, but I'm not having the best time ever, and people herald this as like their favorite series of all time, and I want that feeling. I want that feeling really bad. So I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. It's Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. I have not really anything else to do today except for go to the gym, because I've committed to that. But outside of going to the gym, I can just read, and I don't know how much I'll read, because again, the story isn't like majorly holding my interest, and so I keep kind of putting it down. But I really want to put some work into it and get a good chunk of the way through so that I can tell you something noteworthy. I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best. I can't help how I feel, but I can't be like the one person on the planet who doesn't absolutely adore this book. Like, I know something has to happen in the second half that just like sets people off. I have full confidence that it's gonna do that. Like, I'm still really, really hopeful. Okay, onwards. So Jesper is trying to help Inej with her feet that are really blistered and injured, and he's like, saints, because it's such a difficult job. And Inej is like, oh, is it that bad? And he's like, no, you just have really ugly feet. And I love this dynamic in general. Like, I love that Jesper brings a little bit of humor into the more serious situations. That feels like it's kind of his role. And I just think it's really cute.
Train ride just to see you, ride for hours just to 'cause you're my home away from home, away from home, away from being alone.
I finished Six of Crows, and I have thoughts. So I had said at the start of the video, or like at some point in the video, I just don't think that for me, the first book in a fantasy series, be it duology, trilogy, quartet, whatever, I just don't think that the first book is ever gonna get like a 5-star rating from me. And I say never. I just think it's highly unlikely because there's always just so much stage setting that has to occur before I can feel enveloped by the world. And I had also said that I wanted this to be a really immersive experience. That's what I was imagining when I picked up Six of Crows. And for me, it was not that. I really enjoyed my time with it. Like when I was sitting down and I was actively in the middle of reading it, I enjoyed myself. But whenever it was put away, I was not thinking about it. It wasn't on my mind at all. And I recognize that I am not the target audience for this book. It's a YA fantasy, and believe it or not, I'm a fully grown adult. So I get that, but also I have seen fully grown humans, booktubers, book reviewers, claim that Six of Crows is the book that reignited their love for reading in their 20s and 30s. And so I think that also kind of influenced my attitude going into the book. But I also am currently a consistent reader. So had I picked this book up when I was 25 years old and I was trying to get back into reading, would I have had a different experience? I just don't know. I can't say. What I do want to hear from you all, if you have read the completed duology, is it Six of Crows, the book as a standalone, that people are crazed about, or is it the duology as a whole? I am very curious because as it stands, I just don't fully understand why this is such an obsession for people if it's just Six of Crows, the book. But it could be both, and then, I'll find out how I feel about that because I am going to pick up Crooked Kingdom soon. I have it already through the library and I have to return it in 11 days. So it will be getting read and I'm excited to read it, which let me explain my thoughts on Six of Crows a little bit more. I think that I would give it probably a 3.75. At first I thought I was gonna give it a 4-star rating, but I think that was just me feeling a little bit of pressure to love it as much as everyone else does. But ultimately I think that my true rating would be somewhere around a 3.75. So that's what I'm going with. This is a very character-driven book with a little bit of a plot, in my opinion, and I am personally more of a plot-driven reader with some exceptions here and there, but for the most part I prefer a plot-driven story. I like to feel like kind of on the edge of my seat while I'm reading a book. And I would say that the first 70% of Six of Crows is just getting to know the 6 characters and getting their backstories and seeing where they come from and what's motivating them to go on this mission in the first place. And I did really enjoy reading those backstories, don't get me wrong, but I just wanted a little bit more action. And when the plot did thicken towards the end of the book in like the last 100 pages, I thought that it was pretty good, but I feel like I've definitely read better action-packed sequences that, just like had me like this. I can't think of a good word, but I just feel like I've read better action sequences, and it was still really good, and it leaves you on a cliffhanger and makes you want to pick up the second book for sure without a shadow of a doubt. But it just didn't like knock my socks off. You feel me? Still a very enjoyable read. I had a good time with it. I don't regret picking it up. I'm excited to read the second one, but it's not like a new all-time favorite of mine. I have more thoughts, but I think that they would contain spoilers. So I am warning everyone right now, if you have not read the book, I'm about to enter spoiler territory. You might want to click away. So yes, if you haven't read the book, thank you for watching up until this point, and I hope that you can come back to this video when you actually have read it and maybe share how you felt about the book at that point in time. But I will see you in another video. Okay, so spoilers. Mainly, I just want to talk about the characters since that's mostly what the book is. I know that people are feral for Kaz and Inej, but I'm like, what about Nina and Matthias? What about them? I love them right now. They're my favorite pairing. I just feel like we know the most about them as a couple and also separately. We know their individual stories and we know their story together. And I loved it. I ate that shit up. When we first got introduced to Matthias, he gave me a major ick, as I'm sure he gave most of you all. Just like hearing his thoughts about the Grisha people and his biases and his prejudices, like it was very, very gross. But that's what makes him such a compelling character, to just see his evolution over the course of the book and his ability to challenge his prejudices, challenge the beliefs that he grew up with and that he was groomed to have, and change his mind and see the humanity in Nina. Like, what more can we ask of someone? And Nina, her ability to sense that goodness in Matthias and just her like badassery in general were top tier. I loved her. She was definitely one of my favorite characters. Probably her and Inej. They were just like strong women, and I love that. Now Kaz and Inej, even though they're not like my favorite couple, I still really enjoyed them. I just don't feel like I have a good sense of their dynamic together, because we only really got little hints of it here and there, but we really didn't get to see that much from them. So I'm hoping for more of that, obviously, in Crooked Kingdom. What I did really, really love at the end was when Inej gets taken away. Kaz in his head is like, I'm gonna get my girl. But the reason that he wants to go and get Inej is so that she can live a free life and so that she can live out her dream to return to her home. He never says, I'm gonna go get my girl and I'm gonna make her mine and I'm gonna finally get to be with her. None of that. It's purely selfless. He just wants to save her so that she can be who she needs to be. And it's like the first time we see Kaz be selfless in the whole book, because for the rest of the book, he's just like definitely got his guard up. He doesn't let on to his emotions. He acts like he's purely motivated by greed. So he's not like a super likable character in that way. But the ending with his thoughts about Inej, I really, really loved that and thought it was very sweet. And then you have Wylan and Jesper, and they're just fun. They are just a hoot. Like I said in another clip, I just love the comedic relief that he brings into the more serious moments. And his dynamic with Wylan is so like typical teenager vibes, where you're just like flirting with each other. And you know, when you were younger and you liked someone, how sometimes you could like be kind of mean towards them. That's the energy that they give, but you can see at the very end how much they care about one another, and I just really enjoyed their overall dynamic. I'm definitely hoping to get a little bit more of Wylan's story in Crooked Kingdom, because we just don't really know that much about him, but I do find him to be a very fascinating character, because I didn't know his place in all of this, but at the end he really brought it home. And I think that that is all I really want to say about the book. Again, I enjoyed it. 3.75 out of 5 stars. I just don't think that it is my newest obsession. Let me know your thoughts down below if you've read it, which I assume you have because you're in the spoiler section. I am very curious if you agree or disagree with anything that I had to say. And specifically, I want to hear if you've read Crooked Kingdom. Is it worth it? But I think that that is all for this video. So I will be signing off and I'll see you in the next one.